All right, let's kick things off with a number that's, well, it's pretty staggering. 10%. Just think about that. That's potentially 1 in every 10 people on Earth carrying a tiny, unwanted passenger in their gut. And for millions of them, this isn't a harmless stowaway. It's an invader that can completely hijack their system.
So what's this invader called? The disease it causes is Amoebiasis. And to really get a handle on it, we're going to follow its journey, almost like a villain's origin story. We'll look at its entire playbook, how it gets inside you, the chaos it causes, and this is the crucial part, how we can stop it dead in its tracks.
Okay, so it's time to meet our villain. It's a single-celled protozoan, and it has a name that sounds like it came straight out of a sci-fi movie. Entamoeba histolytica. And that name? It's not just for show. Histo means tissue, and lytica means to break down or destroy. So yeah, it's literally the tissue destroyer. And believe me, it earns that name.
Right, so amoebiasis, that's the official name of the disease this little monster causes. Now, you might think, okay, it's a gut parasite, so it's just a bad stomach bug, right? Wrong. That's where it starts, in the colon, but its real superpower and its biggest danger is its ability to travel. It can escape the gut and make a beeline for other organs, with the liver being its #1 target, and that's when things get really serious. Now, to really understand how big of a deal this is, let's put it on a leaderboard. When you think of the world's deadliest parasites, what's the first name that pops into your head? Probably malaria, right? And for good reason, it's #1. But guess what's #2? Yep, amoebiasis. We're talking about the second deadliest protozoan parasite in the entire world. This is not some rare, obscure illness. It's a major, major global health problem.
And that ranking isn't just a statistic. It has a real, devastating human cost. Every single year, this parasite kills somewhere between 50,000 and 100,000 people. Think about that. Up to 100,000 deaths from an infection that's almost entirely preventable and spreads because of something as basic as poor sanitation. So how does this whole nightmare even start? How does the invader get in? Well, the official term is the fecal-oral route, which sounds clinical, but a much clearer way to think about it is the disease of dirty hands. It's a pretty blunt way to put it, but understanding that simple, direct pathway is absolutely the key to preventing it.
This parasite is incredibly clever. It's like a shapeshifter with 2 totally different forms. First, you have the cyst. Think of this as its travel mode, or its survival pod. It's got this tough outer shell that lets it survive for months out in the world, in water, in soil, just waiting. This is the form that infects you. But then, once it's safely inside your gut, it transforms. It becomes the trophozoite. This is the attack mode. This is the active, mobile monster that actually invades your body's tissues and makes you sick. Now, you might be wondering who's most at risk here. And while technically anyone can get it, this parasite really preys on vulnerability. It's an opportunist, so we see it most often in travelers visiting places with poor sanitation. It hits the malnourished, especially kids, the hardest. It can spread quickly in crowded places like prisons or other institutions, and of course, anyone with a compromised immune system is in the high-risk zone for a really bad outcome. All right, so the parasite is in. It's shed its disguise and transformed into its attack form. So what's its game plan? The invasion begins at the first major checkpoint, the colon.
When it attacks the gut, the classic symptoms are so distinct that doctors group them into something called the dysentery triad. And let me be clear, this is not your average case of diarrhea. We're talking about 3 things at once. First, these incredibly violent abdominal cramps. Second, a constant painful feeling like you need to go to the bathroom even when you can't. And third, what does come out is often not stool, but a mix of blood and mucus. It's absolutely brutal.
So what's actually happening inside the colon to cause all this? Well, the parasite is literally dissolving the intestinal wall. It carves out these unique flask-shaped holes. Doctors have this really vivid term for them. They call them shirt button ulcers. And these ulcers aren't just sores, they're doorways. They're gateways for the parasite to escape the gut and burrow deeper into your body. And once it breaks through that colon wall, it's game on. It finds its way into the tiny blood vessels, and suddenly it has access to your body's entire highway system, the bloodstream. It just hitches a ride. And the first major stop on that highway, the first big organ it gets filtered through, is the liver. And this is the moment the infection goes from being a serious gut problem to a potentially fatal systemic disease. Just like the gun attack has its own signature triad of symptoms, the liver attack does too. It's called the Fontan triad, and here's what it looks like. First, a crazy high fever, like 39 or 40 degrees Celsius that just won't break.
Second, this intense, deep pain in the upper right part of your belly, which can be so bad it actually radiates up to your shoulder. And third, a swollen, painful liver. What this all means is that the parasite is literally creating an abscess, a walled-off pocket of infection and pus right inside your liver.
Okay, that all sounds terrifying, I know. But this parasite, as nasty as it is not invincible. We can fight it and we can win. So how do we do it? How do we detect this thing? And more importantly, how do we get rid of it? Let's talk strategy.
The way we treat this is actually pretty brilliant because it's a two-phase attack, targeting both forms of the parasite we talked about. Phase 1 is all about killing the active invaders, the trophozoites. Doctors use a special drug that goes systemic, traveling through your bloodstream to hunt down and kill the parasites in the liver, the colon wall, anywhere they're causing damage. But that's not the end of it. Phase 2 is cleanup. A different drug is used, one that stays inside the gut to eliminate all the sleeper cysts. This is crucial because it prevents you from having a relapse, and it stops you from being contagious to others.
So, the treatment works, which is great news. But you know what's even better than treating it? Not getting it in the first place. You've heard it a million times. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So let's talk about your personal defense plan. How do you stay safe?
Okay, if you're traveling, especially in high-risk areas, these tips aren't just suggestions. They're your lifeline. The golden rule is simple. If you can't cook it or peel it yourself, just forget it. Eat hot, cooked food. Peel your own fruit. Only drink bottled water that you open yourself. But I really want you to pay attention to that last don't on the list. This is super important. Those tough little cysts we talked about, they can survive many common chemical water disinfectants, like iodine. So you can't just drop a tablet in your water bottle and assume you're safe. It's often not enough to kill these things.
And here's why all of this is so incredibly important. Unlike malaria or yellow fever, there's no vaccine for amoebiasis. There is no preventative pill you can take before your trip. The only thing standing between you and this parasite is your own awareness and your own actions. It all comes down to hygiene.
Which really leaves us with a big final thought to chew on. We live in this hyper-connected world, with people and goods crisscrossing the globe every second. Does that mean we're accidentally creating new superhighways for ancient threats like this one to travel on? It's a sobering thought, isn't it? And it's a powerful reminder that no matter how advanced our medicine gets, sometimes our most powerful weapons are the simplest ones: clean water and clean hands.